Good morning, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of One Album Wonders. This is the show where we take a look at those bands who only ever released one album. So they could be a pretty obscure band who released an album. Some people loved it. Band disappeared off the face of the earth. Could be a major band who released, or a supergroup who put out an album, lots of press, a lot of people talking about it, but then egos and all sorts of stuff broke the band up. So whether it's something that's pretty obscure or something pretty much in the mainstream, we're taking a look at them, we're talking about them, we're doing 10 per show. We got more of these coming. So we got 10 today. Let me kickstart us off with our first two. We'll go one at a time, but these first two were actually brought to my attention from one of our longtime viewers, Jason Morris. So this first band is called U.S. Bandit, and the actual album is titled USB, which is short for U.S. Bandit. So this is a New York band. This came out in 1998. So one album released from this band, Michael Vincent on bass, Frank Michaels on drums, you got Dan Wos on guitars, and Paul Locascio on vocals. If you like early Kiss, like mid-late 70s, early 80s Kiss, it's just, that's what you get here. It's just kind of really good, solid U.S. hard rock, kind of sleaze rock, good tunes, good melodies, tasty guitar work, fun album. You got a bunch of tracks on here. Good stuff if you can find it. Next up, so from the guy who played guitar on here, so we got Dan Wos. All right, or Dan Wos, sorry, not Woe, Dan Wos, Dan Wos, don't know how he says his name. The Dan Wos Project, it's called Voodoo Man, so there's the guitar player himself. Putting together a little solo project. This is the only one he's done to date. This was released in 2006. More good, like modern hard rock with a healthy nod to the 70s, 80s. Good hooks, tasty guitar work. Another really fun album if you like kind of, more recent being the last, 20, 30 years, kind of American hard rock that kind of dips back into the, glory days. I think you'll dig those. Both really, really good. Next up, from 1994, how about BBM or Baker Bruce Moore? There's Ginger Baker himself smoking a cigarette on the front, and there are the guys on the back. So this was basically, a supergroup of two former guys from Cream and the amazing talents of Gary Moore on guitar and vocals. Of course, you got Jack Bruce on vocals and bass. You've got Ginger Baker on drums, Gary Moore on guitar and vocals. Really good stuff. It's kind of like more updated version of Cream, bluesy hard rock. Really good album. Dug this a lot when it came out, but man, it just kind of fizzled into nowhere. Whether they ever intended this to be more than just a studio album and not really follow it up with lots of touring and another album, I don't know. But it kind of came and went. That was that. Maybe many years too late. Good album, though, nonetheless. Gary Moore did another kind of little supergroup back in 1980 called G-Force. Okay, so terrible haircut notwithstanding on Gary there, but basically after he left Thin Lizzy, after the Black Rose period, Gary decided to put together kind of like a LA kind of super band, so to speak, to go out on a tour opening for Van Halen. So he put together Mark Nassif, who played briefly in Thin Lizzy, also played in Elf and the Ian Gillan Band. You got Willie D, vocalist from Captain Beyond. You got Tony Newton, bass player from Tony Williams' Lifetime. So, meant to put this band together to kind of break big here in the States. They did the VH tour, open up for Whitesnake. Things were looking good, but before you know it, the band kind of broke up, and that was it. Gary Moore went off to join Greg Lake. Apparently, a rumor has it that Glenn Hughes was also involved in an early version of this particular band. Historically, Glenn and Gary just never really seemed to hit it off, which is a shame because I think, between what you heard about in this project and also the Run for Cover album where, Glenn was to join Gary's band, do the album, and, that didn't work out either. Although the tracks they recorded together, top notch. What else? How about Emerson, Lake and Powell from 1986, self-titled? This is a really good album. So basically this configuration came about because Keith Emerson and Greg Lake wanted to put ELP back together, but because Carl Palmer was so kind of tied up in what was going on with Asia, he couldn't make this happen. So they said, all right, well, who else is still available? Lo and behold, Cozy Powell, fresh out of Whitesnake. I can do it, right? Big seller, big tour. I think most people were expecting another album and more touring. But they had all sorts of management issues, which eventually led to the breakup of the group, and that was that. And before you know, Cozy's off in Black Sabbath not long after. Emerson and Lake kind of flounder around for a little bit before ELP official gets back together as we start the 90s. All right. From 1969, how about Black Cat Bones? Barbed Wire Sandwich. Look at that dreadful album cover. Kind of cool, though, if you like kind of interesting little monsters, right? So basically, this is a British blues rock band. Originally had Simon Kirke and Paul Kossoff in the band before Free got together. So in the early version of the band, those two guys were in. Then they were out. In comes Rod Price on guitar to replace Kossoff. Of course, this is pre-Savoy Brown and Foghat for Mr. Price. You got Phil Lenoir on drums. You got Stu Brooks on bass, Brian Short on vocals, and Derek Brooks on rhythm guitar. Really good album. Good, solid blues rock. Nothing earth-shattering. But if you like, Chicken Shack and, Free, certainly, and, maybe early Fleetwood Mac, that sort of thing, not a bad album. Not a bad album at all. Here's probably my sleeper in this whole bunch right here. If you guys haven't heard this band, you need to. The band is called Bodkin, self-titled. This was released in 1972. So this is a Scottish band, pretty evil looking. This is a Karma release, that Italian label. I remember picking this up way back. I think I bought this off of Ken Golden from the Laser's Edge. Oh, geez, like 25 years ago or something like that, or whenever this came out. Really dark, heavy, early prog, early proto-metal with just loads of heavy guitar riffs and solos and monstrous Hammond organ. Monstrous Hammond organ. In fact, if you love like the early Atomic Rooster, Uriah Heep, Deep Purple, Birth Control, that sort of thing, big riffs and biting guitar solos and Hammond organ all over the place, memorable tunes, heavy tunes, good vocals. You got to get this if you can still find it. Bodkin. Bodkin is the name of the band, and it's self-titled. Excellent stuff. Pretty lengthy tunes. There's only 5 songs on here. 9 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Not a really long album, but just absolutely great. 2000 Karma Records. This was reissued. So it's from 1972, originally released on West Records, reissued in 2000 on a Karma Records. Absolutely should seek that out if you haven't heard it. What else? From Britain, we got Gin House, self-titled from 1971. Cool power trio stuff. Good heavy prog, little bits of folk, little bits of blues rock. Really good songs. Complex at times. Lots of textures, good vocals. This one's a keeper. Another really solid one. What else we got here? How about from Germany, 1970? Asterix. Asterix. This is basically the band that was right before Lucifer's Friend formed. So this is basically the Lucifer's Friend lineup minus John Lawton on vocals and with their original singer. Good, solid, early, heavy rock and prog, lots of organ, lots of guitar. Really good stuff. If you love the early Lucifer's Friend, you'll dig this because it's kind of sounds very similar, obviously. And then my last one for today is from Norway, from 1976. The band is called Flax, like the flaxseed. The album's called One and Done. This is all they did. Kind of sinister looking album cover there, right? Good Norwegian hard rock with touches of prog. You got some really intense, complex songs. Really good guitar work. Really intricate guitar work. Nice rhythms. To me, this kind of sounds like a little bit of like the first Captain Beyond album mixed with a little bit of Lucifer's Friend. Pretty intense stuff. I dig this a lot. Very cool. It's good to see Norway represented on these lists that we've been doing here. These one and dones. We don't see a lot of these Norwegian bands from the 70s and what have you. So there you go. You got a bunch of 70s releases here, a couple of 80s, some from the 2000s. So some from the 90s. So a little mix of everything here. U.S., British. Norwegian, Scottish, German. We're all over the map here. And today we got more coming. I got another stack over here, and I got some that I haven't yet pulled. So we probably could get at least another 3 or 4 episodes out of this, I'm hoping. So maybe more. We'll see. So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter. Of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. So what do we got coming up? So tonight, it's Monday. So tonight, we've got the Hudson Valley Squares tonight for a very cool show. Our rant on some of the worst cover songs of all time. You don't want to miss that. What else is happening? Oh, a lot of things happening. Martin Popoff will be back later in the week here on the show. We are going to be ranking the studio catalog of new wave of British heavy metal legends. Diamond Head, so that's coming up. Tomorrow is actually Viewer Appreciation Day here on Sea of Tranquility. Once again, we do that once a month. So we've got our longtime viewer, Rand Kelly, coming on to join me for a ranking the studio albums of Jazz Fusion Legends Brand X. So that's happening as well this week, as well as a whole lot of other stuff. A lot of things coming up, too many to mention. So stay tuned for all of it. We'll see you all real soon. We should be also Martin Popoff and Chris Allo are joining me once again for another trio rant show. The one that's coming up, we're going to be talking about great album cover fake-outs. So basically, albums you bought based on album cover art that made you think the music was going to be one thing, and it actually turned out to be something else. Okay, so that's coming up also this week, so stay tuned for that and all sorts of other stuff. We'll see you soon, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.